Welcome, welcome, ladies. Thanks for being here today. This is all week long. I'm covering dating advice for women over 50. And today I'm going to be talking about relationship advice for women over 50. But I've been saying all week that I feel that what I teach is the principles that I teach are really timeless and they are applicable to all women. So I hope that the younger ladies are taking notes and getting the most out of these broadcasts, because a relationship is a relationship and we want to foster that growth in the relationship. And so what I wanted to start with is where I really want to start is talking about when you're in a relationship, you want to make sure that you have an open heart. You want to make sure that your heart is always open in a relationship. And this really goes for everything in life. I'm a big believer of the art of an open heart and living your life with an open heart. When you close your heart down, you retract, and then when you open back up, and if you constantly are withdrawing and opening back up, it's really harmful not only to you but other people. And so I want to dispel the notion that we have to protect ourselves and close our heart down. What you need to teach yourself is that when you go through a heartbreak or heartache and you're hurt and wounded, you want to leave your heart open, because in that process of leaving your heart open, what happens is you have more compassion for yourself. The bigger the lesson can be, the greater capacity for love that you have. When you are closing your heart down, you compartmentalize that part of you that was wounded, and you distance yourself from it, and you avoid yourself in the process. And that's why the idea of closing your heart or shutting down when you're hurt is really dysfunctional. It's harmful to you, especially. And so, especially in a relationship. So I'd like to suggest and inspire you to live your life with an open heart, a wide open, because then no matter what happens, you always have you on your side. See, the reason why you can live like that is because if you're meeting all of your emotional needs from within, it's safe for you to keep your heart open. Now, you have to have boundaries. You might have been hurt, and so you may have to have a boundary around how you interact with that person, but your heart remains open. And the bigger your heart, the more you can hold, right? You can hold more and have more. And so the next relationship that you attract, you're coming from a place of love, not from scarcity and fear of getting hurt, because you have to take responsibility for those hurts. It's not your fault maybe, but it's your responsibility to heal. And so especially when you're in a relationship. And so the advice I want to give you about being in a relationship is that you need to keep your heart open in the relationship at all times. You can never close your heart down no matter what happens in the relationship, because it's a violation of on the deepest level. It's a violation against your partner and against yourself, because that is that's an intimacy issue when you close your heart. Because being honest is a cornerstone of all relationships, right? Emotional honesty is very important when you have a relationship. And so the cornerstone of emotional honesty is integrity. Emotional honesty is integrity. It means you have integrity, that you're emotionally honest with yourself first. You have to learn to tell the truth at all times, especially to yourself. Any kind of white lies or distorted thinking has to stop. You have to begin to tell your truth to yourself. And once you get used to doing it, it's actually really easy, because that creates a lot of emotional integrity. That creates a lot of trust in your relationship. Even if what you share is really hard and painful, you must tell the truth. Now, of course, you always temper that with how you say it, how you tell the truth. And so, and when you create in a relationship emotional honesty and trust and integrity, you create emotional safety. So you're creating an emotional safety net and a container where the relationship lives. It lives in that safety net. And both parties, the man and the woman, can now expand and grow and relax and continue to expand, because there's all this emotional honesty, and there's integrity, and you have this safety net that you are agreeing to live by these rules. I mean, actually, when Michael and I got married, we created what we called a covenant in our wedding vows, that we vowed to to adhere to a communication technique so that we always had open lines of communication. And we have stuck to that ever since we got married. We've been together for 7 years. And you know what? It's the foundation of our relationship. I'm really proud of myself for sticking to it. It hasn't been easy. Sometimes it was really hard to walk through those challenging conversations where I had to be microscopically honest about something that I was feeling and be feeling really vulnerable about sharing something and opening myself up. But that is the very thing that has led to such depth in our relationship and longevity for the relationship. You want your relationship to last, then this is the key to creating a long-lasting, lifelong partnership. And so the importance of this is because conflicts are going to arise. You're going to have conflicts. Conflicts are a normal part of life. And you need to get really good at addressing conflict and not looking at conflict like confrontation. I like to say we need to address something. And my rule of thumb, and I really recommend this, is that you addressed any conflicts, any disagreements, misunderstandings, hurt feelings, feeling disrespected, whatever it is that happens within a week. You need to bring that to your partner's attention within 1 week, 7 days of the incident. Because anything after that, I don't want you to bring up, because that's what happens is scorekeeping. And that's why most relationships fail, is because we're scorekeeping. We're keeping track of all the things that he did wrong, and we're building up all these little resentments. And then one day the dam breaks and it all comes rushing out, and you exhale all over your partner, and he's like, I just wanted to watch TV or the news or whatever, one thing. And it's because you haven't been emotionally honest. Not his fault, it's your fault, because you didn't learn to tell the truth at all times, because you didn't feel safe to tell the truth, or you don't value your own truth. And so really this is about doing the work on yourself, right? And another part of having a healthy relationship and is developing and continuing to develop the relationship with yourself. That is one of the components of having a healthy relationship. I don't look to Michael to meet my emotional needs. I look to Jackie to meet her emotional needs. I am responsible for my emotional needs because they're just that. They're my needs. And in the same token, I'm not responsible for Michael's emotional needs. They're his emotional needs. I can redirect him to notice that they're his needs. He's actually really good. I'm really lucky. We've been together for 7 years. So we've been building this and co-creating a relationship for the last 7 years to where we are at a place where there's a lot of ease and grace in between our communication and a lot of respect for each other. That's because we've adhered to that responsible communication technique that was a part of our wedding vows. We started practicing that when we were dating. And so because a conflict arose and we had to address it, and I initiated and asked him if he would be willing to participate in a communication technique that I had learned, and that involved using I language, first party communication. So he was open to it. And so what that means is that when we're speaking about something that's upset us, or if I'm speaking about me, I use I language. I felt. I don't say you made me feel, because he's going to feel attacked, and I am attacking him. I'm saying you, got my finger pointed at him, you made me feel. Well, he didn't make me feel anything. I felt. So I'm taking responsibility for my feelings, and when I do that, I'm empowered, because I'm in ownership of them. When I say you made me feel, I'm turning my power over to you. I'm saying you have the power to make me feel sad or happy. And I say, no, I don't want to give the reins over to my happiness to somebody else, my husband or anybody. And so that's how we want to live our lives as women, as empowered women. We want to do that inner work so that we are responsible for our own happiness. Now, yes, we still need to address things, but we come from a place of taking ownership. Or so it could sound something like, last night when we went out to dinner, and there was that incident with the waiter, I felt disrespected. So I didn't say you made me feel disrespected. I said I felt. And he might maybe interrupt me at first when we first started this, and he might say, and I'm just making this up for an example. He might say, well, I didn't, do that. And I'm saying, no, I didn't say you did it. To clarify, I'm saying that when that happened, I felt that way. I'm not blaming you. I'm saying that I had a feeling, and then he has the opportunity from that place to understand me. It creates a lot of understanding. He's like, oh, I didn't realize that. I had no idea that you felt that way. So again, not blaming him, and in that space, he can come forward and console me. He can apologize if it's appropriate. Like, I'm sorry that you felt that way. He's not saying that I'm sorry I did that. He's just empathizing and validating that I had a feeling and it didn't feel good. So he can say, I'm sorry you felt that way. And so now I'm understood. He's being empathetic. And then we have all this intimacy because we didn't have some misunderstanding. And it all started with using I language. This is really the most important part of having a healthy relationship. This is the best advice I could ever give you, is to learn to speak in a measured way by taking responsibility for your feelings and always processing them first before you talk to your partner. Because a lot of times after you process your feelings, you decide that I don't really need to say anything. I worked it out. I worked it out internally, and maybe I journaled, and I can see that it's really, I was just a trigger based on something that was personal to me. It had nothing to do with my husband or my boyfriend or my partner. And so you want to address conflicts as they arise within a week, because what happens is, and I already talked about scorekeeping, is that if you don't bring it up within a week, your partner may not remember the details. Men want concrete details. They need to know exactly what you're talking about. And I'm speaking from experience. If you don't, my husband will say, I need concrete details. He says that to me. And that's why I learned this phrase. And I've learned so much from my husband. And so I need to give him concrete details. Like when the waiter came up to the table with the entrees. So see, I'm being very, very descriptive, so that he can go back there and try to assess whether or not he, is responsible or not. And so that's why you want to have concrete details. Otherwise, it just makes you sound like you're I don't want to use the word nitpicking, but I guess picking on him and just being, starting to, what do we call women? I'm lost for words. I'll circle back to that, but I think you know what I'm saying. Start to make you sound like you're picking on him all the time. And men really are sensitive to that, especially at over 50, because they've already had relationships where perhaps their first wife or somebody in their life was very critical. And women can be very critical, and it comes from being criticized. So just know that it's a learned behavior. Sometimes when we're criticized a lot, we become very critical. Or if we didn't get the love or the attention we needed, we are critical of ourselves. And in doing so, we're critical of others. Or maybe we're perfectionists, so we expect a very high level from others, and it's an unrealistic expectation. People will fail you. People are not perfect. And so you're looking for the perfection that lives in you. You're looking to be the most perfect version of yourself, not being perfect. And so that's the part about working on yourself that's really important. And so another part that I want to discuss with you is isolating. What's really common, I'm going to get a little sip of my coffee here. What's really common is avoiding. So we all develop coping mechanisms in how we do life. Maybe you're an avoider, or maybe you're confrontational. Maybe you speak out, or you act out or act in. And so in that coping, like say there's something happens and there's an argument or a disagreement, you may withdraw or you may avoid. So you avoid talking about it, or you withdraw. And this is by far the most harmful boundary violation that you can have in a relationship. Because when you remove intimacy from a relationship, you create a lot of harm. You create distrust and dis-ease, not only in yourself, but your partner. So he'll mimic your behavior. If you withdraw, he'll withdraw. And then you're never really getting to the bottom of the problem. You're never really becoming intimate. Into me, I see. He never really gets to know you, and you never really get to know him because you're constantly coping by avoiding or withdrawing, and it creates a lot of harm and distrust. And you really have to stop it. It's very dysfunctional. And it's very hard to stay when you're feeling challenged and you feel like you're being criticized. It's easier to walk away. I was a runner. It's so much easier to run. You just get up and leave. You don't have to address it. But guess what? You're just repressing, minimizing, and your feelings. And when you do that, they're bound to pop up at a later date. They're going to build until something happens and the dam breaks and all those emotions come rushing out. And they usually directed at the person you love. And here's why: because we trust them the most, that they'll accept us even if we have less than perfect behavior. But I see that's really dysfunctional. Why should Michael be subjected to my emotional immaturity? It's not the way I want to do life. I want to be emotionally mature, highly functional women. And that's what I'm teaching all of you, to be highly mature, emotionally functional women. That's what men want. That's going to make you stand out in the crowd. And you can teach a man to do that too, by the way you treat yourself. And so just give some thought to that, to this violations of emotional distance. That's what it's called. Very harmful. And if you're doing that, I want you to really look at that behavior and see if you can start to notice when you're doing it, and see if you can stop running, stop withdrawing, stop going silent. No silent treatment, no cold shoulder. That's what children do. That's what teenagers do. And so we want to bring more mastery into our relationships if you want them to last. And believe me, I never want to go through a divorce again. So I have a lot of motivation to communicate responsibly and respectfully so that I can get my needs met and be heard, and Michael can be heard also. And so I'm going to take some questions now. The last thing I want to say about this is that you need to show the 3 A's: acceptance, appreciation, and what was my last one? Affection. The 3 A's: affection, appreciation, and acceptance. All the time in your relationship, you need to constantly be circling back to do that. You need to make a habit of it. We can't get enough of that from our partner, and we look to our partner to appreciate, to accept, and to give us affection, and then admire. I'd like to add another A. There's 4 A's: admire, accept, appreciate, and be affectionate. And those will really keep your relationship balanced if you're practicing those things on a daily basis. And then, I want you to just love each other. Like you remember when you're a teenager and you were first in love, and how that felt. It was just, all consuming. I want you to love each other like teenagers, but I want you to temper it with the wisdom of your age. That's what I want for you. And if you do all of these things that I just taught you about, you will have a long, healthy, loving relationship. And don't forget to have fun. Having fun together, it will continue to build your relationship. And while remaining independent, it's important for you to remain somewhat independent emotionally so that you can continue to do that work and have your own hobbies and interests, of course. So let me get some questions. Welcome, ladies from YouTube and Facebook. Ladies, thank you for being here. If you're enjoying the content and you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do that now. Share it with your friends. I'm sure they would appreciate hearing about me, because my objective is to help all of you grow up emotionally so you can have healthy relationships, attract men that are healthy, or at least inspire them to step up. That's what we can do. We can inspire men to step into their full masculinity. And the same goes with you ladies on Facebook. If you're just discovering me, if you'd like my page, you'll receive notification about my all week long on dating advice for women over 50 and all women, actually. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. I'm trying to get to 30,000 subscribers this month, and it's the 24th. I've got 7 days left. I think I'm going to hit it. I'm at almost 28,000. I need 2,000 more subscribers. What happens is my rankings goes up on YouTube, and then they give me more tools to help me make better videos. And that's why it's important. It's not just about a popularity contest. There's actually levels that they do, and they do that on Facebook as well. The higher the level you go, the more services they provide so that I can provide better, higher quality videos and et cetera for you. And so let's take some questions. Yes, Thomas, emotionally unavailable or high drama women are a turnoff. They are to me too. I don't have any drama women in my circle. Not fun. They suck the air out of the room, right? You ever been around a woman that's taking up all the energy in the room with her storylines? It's really because she's caught in her storyline, and I have a lot of empathy. But that's hard to be around because usually the most dysfunctional person runs a relationship. So if one person's really dysfunctional, everybody's having to modify their life to accommodate the dysfunction. It's just so like crazy town, right? You just want to get off that crazy train. So when is it appropriate to let my boyfriend into my life, introduce him to my friends? Just let me click that. We have been dating for 2 months, and he's a real gentleman, and I'm very happy with him. He's from another country, but works in this country. And I haven't met his friends and family yet. I think that that's a discussion you want to have with your man. 2 months. I like to spend the first couple of months with my man because we're getting to know each other, and it's kind of fun to keep him to yourself, because as soon as you introduce an extended family, that adds another element to awkward moments, having to navigate relationships, working through some of the children might feel threatened. And so you have to work through those, and it's all part of relationship building. But I think 2 months is a great time to, if you see yourself with having a future with him, then I encourage that. I mean, we don't really know the outcome yet because it's only 2 months, but you can certainly, you have to dive in with both feet, make that commitment, and go through those interactions to deepen your relationship and spread your inner circle. So absolutely, I highly recommend it. So good luck with that. Let us know how it goes. And what do we have over here on YouTube? The men I've met do not step up. I don't know what to think. I feel as if they don't want to go to the next step. And they're always on the internet looking at women. What else would they be doing? That's a very good assessment. If they don't step up, then you next them. You move on. And if they're looking on the internet, they haven't found what they're looking for. And so they're doing you a favor. I know that's hard to accept, but a man's going to keep looking until he finds what he wants. And you should too. Okay, you should do what they're doing. Keep looking until you find somebody who stops looking and makes you the center of their attention. Then that's when you can stop. So don't get caught up in why. Doesn't matter why. If one party out of the two doesn't see you as a fit, then you just saved you a lot of time. And remember, rejection is just a redirection. It's a redirection. So just keep going, sweetie. Don't give up. And yeah, so Thomas is saying that men back off from a relationship with a dysfunctional person who's trying to run the relationship because they are. And sometimes that's leading with a lot of masculine energy. And as women, if we're trying to control, a big thing happens when you've been independent for so long, it's hard to let go of control. But really, if you look at the control, where's the control coming from? It's control to feel safe. Though a lot of times we're trying to control things because we don't feel safe with being vulnerable. But there's so much power in vulnerability, and I've already talked a lot about that. And so one more question. I was dating a guy that not the best choice, so I broke it off, but he doesn't want to let go. I found a guy that has a lot of plus. What should I do? Well, I want you to look at why you broke it off to begin with. If you said it wasn't the best choice, then you know you. I would stand in your truth and let him go, and go for the guy that you feel that you have more of a balance with. I mean, we all meet amazing men. They doesn't mean that you can have a relationship with them just because they're great or they like you. There's other factors to consider. And so as flattering as that is, I don't know if that's going to work in the long haul if you've already found things about him that you don't feel are fit for you. So I would let him go and close the door and lock it so that you cannot go back, so that you give this new relationship an opportunity to really grow. And okay, ladies, how can I get my boyfriend to get him to give me affection? I think he loves me, but not in love with me. Well, I'd like you to be with a man who's in love with you. If he's not giving you the affection And sometimes men aren't affectionate. Not everybody's handsy and affectionate. The affection can come in different ways. So I would really look at the things that he's doing for you. Is he demonstrating to you things, caring, consistency, and commitment by his behavior? That's how I would make that determination whether or not he's in love with you. When Michael does things for me and he considers me and he's consistent and he's running things by me and asking me before he makes decisions, then I feel that he's in love with me because he considers me. So I think that's a really good benchmark to start from. So start there. And yeah, no affection equals some form of damage, Thomas said. So, it's a conversation worth having. I mean, what do you have to lose, right? What do you have to lose if you're already not getting it and you want it? And but make sure you come from love and make sure you use your feather. And yes, ladies, I've upgraded my feather to a really big feather. Do you love it? This one's got way more impact than that little one. And all the ladies that are coming to my workshop in February 23rd and 24th, information's in the box, will be getting their own personal feather from Jaki. So come to my workshop, ladies. I want to teach you all about relationships, feminine energy, create a plan for you. We're going to do some role playing, some speed dating, some manhandling. It's all happening. And if you live in California, there's no reason why you can't drive down to La Jolla and come for Saturday and Sunday and spend one night so that you can take away your man plan and feel really empowered by me and my team. All right, ladies, time to wrap up the call. It's been a pleasure connecting with you today. Tomorrow we have I don't have my list with me. Tomorrow there's going to be another fabulous episode. I will send an email out about it. If you're not on my email list, make sure you sign up for one of my freebies, my soulmate assessment or my ebook, because that's how you can get on my database. I'll get your name and email address, and then I'll send you information about what the content's going to be for each of these videos that I'm creating for you. Okay, ladies, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Thomas, for your input. Very helpful. And as always, I'm sending you so much love today. Bye.